I mean, it didn't take long. This man was seen on camera smiling and pumping his fists just moments after the shot rang out. And according to witnesses, he wasn't the only one.
I just watched the close-up video of Charlie Kirk getting pewed in the neck. No fucking way he survives. So you know what time it is?
But wait, there's more. Look at this guy here. Read the sign. Here, let me zoom in a bit. Hold on. This is probably better.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Killed, how do you feel?
Happy, goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. What do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it.
But wait, there's more.
Absolutely tragic news on the Charlie Kirk front. Apparently, he was doing one of his talks when a shot rang out through the crowd. And apparently, he got hit in the neck. How devastating. Now, of course, after hearing news like this, some form of memoriam is expected. So, in honor of his noble sacrifice, I am going to be getting absolutely blitzed tonight. Who's with me?
Again, this is the same side that claims they're morally superior than everybody else.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, are white Americans celebrating Charlie Kirk death? In this video, we are going to see some of the shocking reaction from white Americans. Majority of white Americans, they have come out and sent their shocking reaction towards the Charlie Kirk death. So kindly guys, watch this video till the end, then I'll be back with more comment. I'm your host, Dash Lifestyle. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, and all credits goes to the original creator of the video.
Who in tarnation is Charlie Kirk to have the American flag flown at half-mast until Sunday? Folks, I tried to be nice, and I tried to come at this as civil as possible. But where was this energy just a few weeks back when children were mowed down in a Catholic school in Minnesota and parents had to run down the street barefooted to rescue their child from a madman armed with a gun? Where was that energy today when there was a man in Colorado mowing down students? Where was that energy in Donald Trump's first administration when there was a mass shooter in Florida? Where was that energy when those tragedies happened? Why wasn't the flag lowered to half-mast for those tragedies? But you will lower it for a man who, as far as I'm concerned, gave validity to the very thing that has caused his demise, saying that we must accept a degree of gun deaths in the U.S. to maintain our Second Amendment right. As far as I'm concerned, he spoke his own death into existence. This is asinine.
Here's what I'm going to say about the Charlie Kirk death. Charlie Kirk built the propaganda machine that ultimately killed him. No one should ever die from gun violence. As Americans, we are perpetually in the seat of the audience watching these gun violence moments play out. Some of us over a TV screen, some of us horrifically in person as the actual audience members did today in Utah. People are lacking empathy around the specific instance is because Charlie Kirk actually perpetuated and even created and empowered the very situation that ultimately led to his death.
If you are on the left and you are not standing up and posting and denouncing about this murder, then you are a too. Do you understand? If you are not getting up there and talking about how this is, then you're a part of it.
My For You page is flooded with posts about Charlie Kirk. And in the comments of these posts that I'm seeing from these other creators, I'm seeing a lot of people in those comments celebrating his death. Need I remind y'all, this is reality. This is not a video game. This is not a movie. This is not a TV show. This is reality. This is a real person who lost their life in front of their family.
I'm not implying anything, but how odd is it that just hours after we have clear, direct confirmation of Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, one of Trump's biggest supporters, Charlie Kirk, dies? And interestingly, do you know who the first person to break that news was? It was Trump. It was Trump. So again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And there are so many events that have happened during this administration and prior that just give so many red flags that they are hard to ignore. The timing is so interesting, don't you think?
Charlie Kirk's throat's been blown out, body on the floor, shooter still at large, and the whole system is panicking like it just lost a golden calf. Now don't mistake me, I'm not throwing a party, but I won't spit out some lie about him being anything other than what he was. He was a fascist, pure and simple. A man who turned hate into a paycheck, who groomed kids into bootlickers, who preached submission to corporate power and white supremacy. Humanizing that filth would be a betrayal of the truth. Liberals already cracked under pressure. Yesterday they were shouting about uprisings, name-dropping Nepal like they even knew what it meant, playing cosplay revolutionaries. Today they're wagging their fingers, bleeding. Violence is never the answer. Pathetic. They want the clout of rebellion without the cost, slogans without scars. They yearn to feel radical but stay safe behind keyboards, never touching the fire, never paying the toll. I'm not calling for violence, refusing to say do it. Nor will I lift a finger to save the state's favorite fascist mouthpiece. I'm not calling the 911 hotline. I'm declining to play the watchdog for a government that's built its empire on blood. They cheer when Hitler got put down, when Mussolini hung, when Bin Laden caught a bullet, when Saddam swung from a rope. That same country shrieks about humanity when one of its own enforcers takes a hit. Hypocrisy rots in the air. And the timing, September 11th, never forget. They chant as if this country doesn't gorge itself on forgetting. Nearly 3,000 dead in New York, and the U.S. answered by bombing its way across the globe. Over 243,000 civilians killed in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan. $8 trillion shoved into the war machine. I carried a rifle into that graveyard war, fought for pipelines, lithium, and opium, not for freedom. I watched contractors rake in billions while soldiers bled and families starved. This land was never clean. Genocide carved this country. Slavery built the foundation. White supremacy policed the domain. Capitalism cages the people. Over 2 million locked up right now. Police slaughtered over 1,300 people in 2024, the deadliest year in recent history. West Virginia buried over 1,300 from overdoses that same year, the highest rate in the nation. The state strangles the poor and calls it order. Its empire kills and calls it freedom. Don't preach to me about peace. when this country eats death for breakfast. Stop crying over one fascist while ignoring tens of millions slaughtered by the system he defended. Avoid telling me violence is never the answer when this nation was built on mass graves and slave ships and still runs on prisons, wars, and overdoses. America doesn't just tolerate blood, it feeds on it, worships it, and demands more. Join fights back. Stand up for justice. Organize your community. Mobilize your neighborhoods and resist oppression. Together, we can build a movement for liberation.
You are a massive fucking hypocrite. Because if you had paid attention to that previous video at all, you would see that what I'm trying to say is that nobody on the left is celebrating Kirk's passing. But we recognize that he reaped what he sowed because he spent years spouting horrible, hateful lies. He said that hundreds of children getting unalived by guns every year was totally fine. He said that empathy for your fellow human was weakness and woke. I do feel very sorry for his kids and his wife, because I bet you his kids were too young to understand what a monster he was. And I can bet you there was definitely some domestic abuse going on there. Because the way he talked about women and the way he talked about their role in society, you can pretty much guess he treated his wife like shit. He spent his time trying to brainwash young people into being the new Hitler Youth, all while calling himself a Christian. Meanwhile, when Melissa Hortman and her family were unalived by a Trump supporter who listened to Charlie Kirk, you guys, especially MAGA Republicans in Congress, made fun of it and laughed about the situation. When Paul Pelosi was attacked with a hammer in his house by a Trump supporter, you guys kept claiming for months, years, that it was his gay lover. Every time a brainwashed MAGA cultist has attacked or unalived a Democrat, you guys just laughed. You laughed and said thoughts and fucking prayers as children were gunned down in their school. And then you did absolutely fucking nothing. But because the chickens have come home to roost, and it affected your guy who was spouting his hateful bullshit, suddenly you care. So spare us the fucking crocodile tears, because we know you wouldn't give two shits if the person who was shot was a woman, a black person, an immigrant, or a child.
I'm so heartbroken to see the way society is reacting to Charlie Kirk's death and shooting. I was on live when it happened, and I stayed online. I was trying to get people to see the hypocrisy of not having empathy for somebody when you're against gun violence that's experiencing gun violence just because you don't like them. And I've been able to get off of it now, and I'm just like processing the cruelty of the world. You do not have to agree with someone to have empathy for them, and nobody deserves that. His family was there, and the way society is reacting is the real issue. My heart breaks for his family, and my heart breaks for the people in society who are rejoicing at human loss. All human loss is bad. We have to be able to have conversations with each other without resorting to violence if we're going to solve any of the issues in society, and doing this is making a statement that we're moving in a direction that's not going to facilitate that, and that's really scary. If your morals change just because you don't like somebody, then you don't have true morals. We have to stop violence towards each other.
My For You page is flooded with posts about Charlie Kirk. And in the comments of these posts that I'm seeing from these other creators, I'm seeing a lot of people in those comments celebrating his death. Need I remind y'all, this is reality. This is not a video game. This is not a movie. This is not a TV show. This is reality. This is a real person who lost their life in front of their family. These are real children who now have to grieve their father, who are so young, they're probably not fully going to understand what they saw and why dad can't come home. Where's dad? A real woman who is both his wife and the mother to these children, who not only has to navigate her own grief and figure out what life looks like now without her husband, but also has to be strong for those children to help them through their grief and be there for them and help them adjust to what life is about to look like now. And I am not on this platform because I agreed with everything this man said. I honestly did not agree with half of the things that he was saying. But that is still a human being. That is still real children. And I don't understand how people are over here online celebrating. Because at the very least, whether you hated him or loved him, you should, at the very least, you should feel sorry for those kids. Because I know we have all seen videos circulating the internet lately that show him with his daughter, and you can tell that he was her entire world. And now, that makes me want to cry just thinking about that. I don't understand how people are on here celebrating this. This is reality, and y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. This is not something to be celebrating or joking about on the internet. This is a real life situation. This is a real life family. These are real children that just lost their father and are so young. It's going to be very hard for them to fully understand and grasp why. Why isn't he reading me a bedtime story tonight? Why isn't he coming home tonight? Why isn't he here? It makes me sick.
Charlie Kirk is dead. And while I do think he's caused immense harm with his political involvement, his assassination does genuinely worry me for 3 reasons. Number one, Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump are very close. And to see his 31-year-old sort of sidekick protege assassinated has got to be one of the most insane things to happen. The second reason is that I'm worried this is going to spark a wave of retaliation. As an activist on the left in Chicago, I do worry about myself or some of the people that I've worked with being targeted. And the third thing is that in the midst of all of this political turmoil, many experts have warned about the rising possibility of a conflict. I doubt that they're going to be like, oh shoot, maybe we shouldn't go down the far right pipeline anymore. I think they're going to double down, and this does genuinely scare me. I think that he said a lot of stupid shit, but assassinating him is different from assassinating Brian Thompson, who had a huge role in a lot of people's deaths. And with tensions already so high, this is definitely going to set off a lot of backlash and cause even further division. It concerns me the number of people cheering on this act of political violence, because what if it's somebody on the left next? It very well could be.
I'm gonna whisper this because I'm at work. I will never mourn a wicked person. I will not mourn someone who actively says, yes, if my child, kids are worded, that they have to have the baby. I'm not gonna mourn someone who says that. I'm not gonna mourn someone who actively condones the genocide of thousands of people. I'm not gonna mourn that person. I'm not gonna mourn someone who says that it's okay to die by the gun if it means that we get to have gun rights. No. When you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that's the truth. If all you do is condone violence and try and take away people's rights, why would it happen to you? Gun violence would not spare anyone, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how high up you are on the food list. Think about that. So no, I will not mourn the wicked, ever.
Here's what I'm going to say about the Charlie Kirk death. Charlie Kirk built the propaganda machine that ultimately killed him. No one should ever die from gun violence. As Americans, we are perpetually in the seat of the audience watching these gun violence moments play out. Some of us over a TV screen, some of us horrifically in person, as the actual audience members did today in Utah. People are lacking empathy around the specific instance is because Charlie Kirk actually perpetuated and even created and empowered the very situation that ultimately led to his death. We don't need to take away guns. We just need more significant gun laws. We need more protections in place. We need more healthcare, mental health, advocacy, and social programs. And Trump and Charlie Kirk have walked in and stripped the country of these social programs that help minimize gun violence. States that have expanded Medicaid have reduced gun violence. And we see it all over the world in developed countries, and we see it here in our own country with Medicaid expansion resulting in reduced gun violence. Trump has come in and reduced these programs, and people like Charlie Kirk have been advocating for him. Gun violence should not occur. The left does not want gun violence to keep occurring. Irony here and why people are lacking empathy is that Charlie Kirk has created and perpetuated the very thing that led to this situation. This is a little something I wrote. I'm just going to read it to you directly. Charlie Kirk and his ilk committed indirect acts of violence every single day. It was a bloodless accosting of vulnerable people day in and day out that strategically reduced them to mere collateral damage and chattel. If you condone Charlie Kirk, you condoned violence, unchecked gun distribution, and the subjugation of women. You created the very world and society that empowered an act of gun violence to occur against him. That's how I feel about it. My name is Jen. Follow me here if you want to see me on TikTok again.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah.
So you're telling me that you can make an Oval Office presentation about Charlie Kirk, but the hundreds and thousands of children who have been murdered over the last 10 years, you've been able to make remarks about El Paso and what happened in Ohio, but nothing that seems to this level of grandeur where you will sit in the Oval Office and talk about this. Please let me know what the difference is, because I'm confused as an American citizen as to what's actually important. I mean, I'd like to think our children are. I'd like to think maybe we should look at gun violence as something that is more about the violence than the person, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it.
Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror.
As we all should be. Pretty much, if there is anything that we should all be in agreement on, is that anything that has to do with violence or unaliving other people should be abhorrent to all of us, right?
Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
Which youth would those be? Like, these youth? Maybe.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder...
My man, unless you're talking about gun violence, then I'm not really sure what you're talking about right now.
...are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now.
I'm sorry again. What must stop? Violence? Because there is, a pretty good way that we could make change to potentially stop some of this violence. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there have been, over the last 10 years, over 5,000 young people who have been ended because of gun violence. So it doesn't really matter what their politics are, because they haven't had time to make their own decisions. But no, let's for sure glorify and martyr Charlie Kirk.
My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
Sorry, real quick one on that. Do you also mean like how the executive branch has made a point of basically taking away all the power of lower court judges, and the fact that you've taken executive order to essentially mean Donald says?
From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year...
Oh, I was so concerned you weren't going to bring up you. But, honestly, I'm shocked that it took this long to get there.
Which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York.
Right, that did happen, and that's still in the courts, which you by and large now control. But no, for sure. Like, but you'll absolutely mention the kids, right? From the last 10 years, 5,000 plus, whose lives have been extinguished. You'll talk about that, right?
To the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today.
Got it. So basically, all of this has to do with anything other than gun violence or the 5,000 plus children who have been slain through gun violence over the last 10 years. We're going to make this about Charlie, you, that House of Representative, and just anything that is political, but not something that actually impacts Americans and our children and our schools.
Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Right. I mean, you love America, not Americans.
How are you upset with me for not feeling empathy for a man that said empathy is destroying society? Why are you calling people heartless for bringing up the Kirk quote where he said that pew-pew deaths are necessary so we can keep 2A? Because it's in poor taste to bring it up right now. You guys know he brought that up while talking about school pew-pewings, right? Why are you calling it mocking that people are saying thoughts and prayers to his family when that is all you have ever offered to the families of children that lost their lives at school? Some kids were actually sent to the hospital today with bullets in them from Denver, Colorado. I'm not sure if it happened before or after Kirk, but if he had seen it, we're all aware of what he would have said. You guys are so upset about this guy that you forgot about the facade where you care about children, so you haven't even offered the kids in Colorado your thoughts and prayers. Mind you, this is also coming from the party who makes fun of the left for having empathy and being like soft, and who were also making jokes about immigrants being eaten by alligators and how funny that was, hee hee ha ha. As a woman and an SA survivor, you expect me to hold a moment of silence for this person who said women lie in mass about SA and that there's actually a gray area and that women should not be prioritizing school. We don't need education. What we need to do is prioritize keeping pure so that we can get a husband before 25. Otherwise, we're basically useless. He didn't really seem to acknowledge my life as valuable, or Palestinians, or people of color in general. He said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. A lot of people are also saying, oh, this is so horrible. His daughter's going to grow up one day and see that video and see all the nasty comments. His daughter's also going to grow up and see the video where he said that thing about making sure she'd have the great baby. Yeah, his death will surely traumatize her, but so did parts of his life. Trump already put the flags at half-mast for like, what, 3-4 days? Which he didn't do when we had a House member assassinated earlier this year. Oh, and let's not forget about everybody making fun of the attempt on Nancy Pelosi. Suffice to say, both parties have people that they adore whom the other party naturally hates. You don't get to cheer at the attempted deletion of one of our people simply because you don't like them, which you're entitled to, but then turn around and call us disgusting when I don't even see people cheering necessarily. I'm certainly not. I'm just not mourning. And you guys think we're disgusting? Do you not see? So forgive me, but the best I can do is neutrality on this one.
And before people say, wear a bulletproof vest, again, he got shot in the neck. A bulletproof vest would not have saved Charlie Kirk, okay? Security did not save Charlie Kirk. The only thing that could have potentially saved Charlie Kirk from getting shot in the neck was if our administrations, prior to this one and this one as well, actually had reasonable gun control as a policy provision in the immediate aftermath of I don't know, 100 other school shootings that took place. This is why I keep responding over and over again to people that go, hey man, why don't you get security? Hey man, why don't you get a vest? There's nothing. None of those things will save you.
So guys, as we continue watching, I have some of the shocking comment here that I want to read it for you and see what others they have really come out and say on the comment section. So this one is saying that not celebrating it, but he got judgment came for his racist self. He had no empathy. So you can see so many people, they were saying that Charlie Kirk, he was a racist, and what and because of his death, this is now like a judgment. God, he has decided to judge Charlie Kirk. And also I have another comment here. This one is saying that Charlie taught us we shouldn't have empathy. So this one is saying that we don't care what happened to that racist. So you can see majority of people, they really don't want to care about what has happened, because they were seeing Charlie Kirk as a racist person. So kindly guys, let us continue watching, then I'll be back with more comment.
Is it okay to celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk? Because today, America is not just filled with people mourning the death of a father and husband. It's also filled with people celebrating the death of a controversial political figure.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. What do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it.
I mean, it didn't take long. This man was seen on camera smiling and pumping his fists just moments after the shot rang out. And according to witnesses, he wasn't the only one.
The liberals who were there were cheering and someone just got killed.
Now, before I start, understand the following. This is not the airport. I don't care if you depart or not. But a lot of you so-called white, liberal, progressive individuals are really showing us who you are today. Let me explain something to you. For people like me, if it was fuck you yesterday, it's fuck you today. If it was fuck you last year, it's fuck you on the day you die. This whole idealism that I'm watching white liberals feed into this, oh, we don't need political violence in this country. It doesn't have a place in this country. Spoken like somebody who has never had to deal with political violence every day of their life just because of the color of their skin. To hear people run around here talking about political violence doesn't have a place in this country when literally this country was founded on political violence. Political violence bloodshed runs like a mighty river through this country's DNA. It is the height of hypocrisy that I'm listening to white liberals take to their platforms across social media and talk about what they don't condone, because political violence has never been their day-to-day struggle. They're telling us what we don't want in our community about how the right will take the opportunity to attack us because of the death of Charlie Kirk. Well, let me tell you something. Black people and those from marginalized communities, we have been at war. We were at war on June 12, 1963, when an assassin's bullet killed Medgar Evers. On April 4th, 1968, when an assassin's bullet took out a king on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, we had been at war. When Vernon Damers had his house firebombed by the Klan for simply registering black people to vote in Mississippi on January the 10th, 1966, we had been at war. When we were being lynched by the thousands after slavery and during the Jim Crow era, so much so that bigots and racists made postcards out of the events, guess what? We were at war. On December 4th, 1969, when the Chicago police murdered Fred Hampton at the age of 21 at the bequest of the FBI, we were at war. 62 years ago, On September the 15th, 1963, when the Klan planted a bomb in the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, and killed 14-year-old Addie Mae Collins, 14-year-old Cynthia Wesley, 14-year-old Carolyn Robinson, and 11-year-old Carolyn Denise McNair, we were at war then. When my friend, my personal friend's brother, was lynched in Alabama by the Klan on March the 21st, 1981, we were at war. Oh, and other marginalized communities have also been at war with the oppressor. Like on November the 27th, 1978, when Harvey Milk was murdered by a fellow city councilman. Why? Because he was gay. We were at war on Friday the 13th, March 2020, when Breonna Taylor was murdered. We don't need your coddling from the events of today, because every black town that has ever been successful in this country's history was burned to the ground by mobs of angry white people. See, we have been at war. It's nice of some of you all to catch up, but to tell us what we are ready for or what we are not ready for is the height of your proximity to the oppressor. And while you white liberals are having your kumbaya moments with your brothers and sisters that you all say you all can't stand, but I digress. Understand, we don't need your lecturing us on violence or how to deal with it. Because in the words of El Haj Malik Shabazz concerning nonviolence, it is criminal to teach a man not to defend himself when he is the constant victim of brutal attacks. As I said, this country was founded in political violence. You don't get to tell us now how we should deal with it. Y'all have the day you deserve, and may the ancestors judge you accordingly to your work.
Charlie Kirk died the way that he lived, in the middle of a racist, transphobic rant, blaming gun violence on anyone but the 97% of mass shooters who were people that looked just like me and old Charlie there. He stood for something, though. He died for what he believed in. He said, gun violence is an unfortunate necessity. It's the price of freedom. It's worth paying. And so, unlike so many lesser men who cower when it comes time to put up or shut up, he took one in the throat to prove that gun violence really is worth it to protect freedom. And now he's in a better place for people like him, looking up at us, getting to hang out with his buddies Ronald and George and Henry, and his idol Joseph Goebbels. I mean, the man could be worse. The man stood on business. He practiced what he preached. And there's something pretty inspiring about that.
Shot in the neck while snarking about gang violence. Underneath a tent, he pitched himself that said, "Prove me wrong." But in fact, the only thing that happened was he proved himself right.
You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
And I don't want to see anybody get up under the desk and say, this is not something that we can tolerate, and political violence is never the answer. Actually, political violence has consistently been the answer throughout history. Charlie Kirk was intolerable. So much so that it got to a point where someone finally made a decision. You don't get to do this anymore. And yes, unfortunately, that decision was taking his life. But there are people who are so dangerous and so violent, and I know you know who I'm talking about, that the only way to stop them is by ending their life. Violence has always been, if not the answer, one of the last ones you'll get to choose from. So in the next few days, when you see people saying, this is not something we can tolerate and we need to empathize, no. You're sitting in a position of power. You can say that because you still have stuff that they can't take from you yet. There's also a school shooting today. Let's empathize with those kids.
Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
Maybe it's because I come from a place with consequences, but I ain't shocked by the Charlie Kirk shit at all. Where I'm from, right or wrong, if you do things that negatively impact other people's lives, there's a chance that could cost you your life. Like, say you put hands on your old lady. She goes back to her parents' house, beaten and bloody, and then her little brother sees it, decides he's had enough. He goes over to that house and he puts 3 in your chest. Ultimately, he's dead because the little brother decided to pull the trigger, but we're going to act like the hillbilly didn't have no part to play in that? Or maybe it's because I'm on the side that has historically had all of the consequences heaped upon them. Like, we're the ones who always get assassinated. Harry T. Moore, Medgar Evers, Huey Long, Harvey Milk, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, the list goes on. None of them wanted to die. And to be sure, they died because someone came and pulled the trigger. They didn't make that decision. But we're going to act like that decision wasn't visited upon them because they decided to challenge the status quo, because they decided to negatively impact the ruling class? Now I've got a situation where I have an individual who has spent the last decade trying to strip the humanity away from everybody that he deemed lesser, out here impacting the lives of thousands, if not millions of people negatively, and I'm supposed to pretend like there are going to be no consequences. Again, whenever you do the type of things that impact, you don't know how you're impacting people's lives. You have no idea what your words or how they will affect somebody. We recognize this as leftists. I understand there's going to be people who don't like the shit that I have to say. It's cops right now who would love to put me in a bag. I get that. I go do it anyway because I believe that what I'm talking is worth dying for. I hope that Charlie Kirk feels the same, because whenever you get out here and you do the type of things that impact people negatively, you need to expect that those people you negatively impact are going to come visit consequences upon you. For right or wrong, it doesn't matter. In my world, that's the reality, and you should expect that it's going to come whether it does or not. I expect my retribution to come for the ruling class. Charlie Kirk is going to have to look out for it from every minority group that he's ever demonized. Moral of the story is, if you're going to be out here trying to impact people's lives negatively, you better believe in what the fuck it is you're fighting for. As always, bro, I appreciate y'all taking the time. Much love. Y'all have a good one.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how majority of white Americans, they have come out and share their reaction, and it is like majority of Americans, they don't care with Charlie Kirk, the death of the Charlie Kirk, because it is like these people, they are celebrating. You can see majority of them, they are looking fine. They don't care what it is happening. And this is to tell you that right now we are seeing that Charlie Kirk, he was like a racist. So majority of people, that are coming out and saying that Charlie Kirk, he was like a racist. He didn't have empathy towards the people who were suffering, and that's why you can see also Charlie Kirk is being people that are saying that this is the judgment from God. So Charlie Kirk, he didn't have empathy, and right now so many people, they don't have empathy with him. So this one is saying that I want to continue and reading you so many comments that majority of you people, you have come out and share in the comment section and see what Americans people, they are saying. So this one is saying that looks like they sacrificed one of their own to create a distraction. Trump, Epstein say less. So this one is saying that it is look like the people who have did this, it is DJT, because so many people, they were coming out asking for Epstein file. So this is like a distraction to those people who are still asking about Epstein file. So majority of America, they are saying that it is like Donald Trump, you want people to forget about Epstein file. So this one saying that I wouldn't be surprised if this was an inside job. So you can see this is like an inside job, because how comes Charlie Kirk, he is having security. This guy has security and he has police. So how comes the e-security didn't manage? Even right now, they have just released the photos of the shooter, but they don't know the name of the shooter. And how comes these people, they can allow this to happen and they are having security? How did they not secure the premises? This is look like it was an inside job, and majority of people, they are saying that this is inside job, and they are doing this to make people to forget about Epstein file. So this one saying that what's make me angry, if a black brown man was shot, they won't say anything, isn't it? Yeah, so this one saying that what it is making him angry as a black person, if it was a black person, they wouldn't say anything. They wouldn't say anything. It will be not showing on the news, but because it is a white person, this one, it will go viral, and they will search each and everywhere just to find the person who did this. So this one is saying that none of these people on Trump administration are Christian. They are the opposite of good. Yeah, so this one saying that Charlie preached evil and evil came calling, end of story. So this was saying that Charlie preached evil. So you can see majority of people, they were saying that Charlie preached evil, and that's why these people, it is like they are not they don't have empathy right now. So this is saying that only a wicked person would mourn the passing of wicked person. Hey, this one is a strong message. Only a wicked person would mourn the passing of a wicked person. So this one saying that you reap what you sow. Oops. Yeah, so this one saying that Charlie Kirk, he has reaped what he saw. So this one saying that us Mexican are laughing too. So this one saying that dude wrote his own eulogy. Yeah, so this one is saying that how convenient they forget about the Senate and her husband that was taken away this summer. Yeah. So this was saying that how about all the black and brown children who Charlie Kirk wanted arrested, taken from their families and home? What about all the hate he preached in front of his children? I won't speak for them, but the country is much better off without Charlie Kirk. So you can see this is really a strong message, and it is showing that people, they don't care about the death of Charlie Kirk right now. So this one saying that he cheered for policy brutality. He was evil. Yeah, so this one saying that I'm not a liberal and I am celebrating. So this one is saying that I am not a liberal and I'm celebrating. So you guys, I hope you can understand. So this was saying that at this point, America don't even need enemies from outside. Hey, so this was saying that America don't need enemy from outside. The enemy, it is within America. These people, they are now killing each other, and that's why I've been telling you that what it is happening in America right now, it is like God is using DJT to punish the Americans. God is using DJT to punish Americans, and America, it is falling, and it is the end of the Babylon. Whatever it is happening in America, you guys, you cannot even afford right now to go in America. If you are still having an America dream, just don't go to America right now. So this one is saying that why didn't Republicans protect him? I'll wait for answer. Yeah, so this we know how Republicans, they have been doing. Why did Republicans not protect Charlie Kirk? So this was saying that wonder which billionaire YouTube boy chose Kirk as the patsy to help Trump declare martial law before midterms. Yeah, so this was saying that it's okay for him to blame gun violence on black people and advocate for guns protection, yet not mentioning gun violence that pale people do. He got killed by a white man. So we have been seeing a picture of the killer is not a black person. Yeah, he's not really a black person. You can see the skin. So this one saying that they assassinated Mick and Malcolm. Yeah, so this one saying that they never talk about all the children who were murdered from a gunman. Yeah, these people, they never talk about what it is happening to the black children, but if it is happening for them, these people, they will come out and talk. It is like right now we have been seeing how the MAGAs people, they are being affected with the Donald Trump policy. and because it is affecting them, they are now coming out and really crying. But if it wasn't affecting them, these people, they will still be quiet. So this is what this one is saying, that his grief finally killed him. So this was saying that blaming the left are crazy. So this was saying that hey, hell, it's the Republican doing everything he's talking about. Yeah, so this one saying that, did the Kennedy not have wife and children? Malcolm X, Madga, Eva, and Dr. King as well had young children and spouse, indifferent to the Kirk family. Not sorry. Yeah, so for those people who have been killing Malcolm X, they were having also family. So even right now, when people, they are still having the empathy, they're still having empathy with Charlie Kirk children, also they are reminding them also, our black people who have been killing, they were having also children. So this is saying that you want to find who is responsible, look to those that voted against gun reforms. Yeah, so this is saying that TikTok girl Erika, this is saying that hate versus hate on full display, hate won. So this is saying that it's so thing to see how racism is there, lunch, dinner, and dessert. Yeah, so this one is saying that my brother who served in the military in Afghanistan, I am with you. I feel for you. God bless you, and I thank you for serving our country, and glad that you came back to us when thousands came in body bags. May they rest in eternal peace for serving our country. So this one saying that Dr. King, Madga, Eva, Malcolm X, John Kennedy, and Robert Kennedy all had a wife and kid. This one saying that New Donald is gone kick out. So this one saying that he's non-empathic misgonia hypocrisy finally cough up with him. He stood on his wall. This one saying that God word say vengeance is mine. He also face damnation. So you can see people, they are really saying that this is all because of what Charlie Kirk he has been preaching. And also majority of black people, they are reminding the white people that also our people, they have been killed and they were having family. So if you are coming out and say that Charlie Kirk has a family, also Malcolm X, Kennedy, also they were having family. So kindly guys, you can also share your thoughts on the comment section. I'll be reading it in my next video. Subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. See you in my next one. Bye bye guys.